After posting about our recent trip to Cuba, I've gotten all types of different questions, so I decided to make a video this week answering some of those questions. I am by no means an expert on Cuba. These are just some of the things I learned on our trip, and I hope they help you. Let's start with visas. I've gotten many questions from people. How do you get a visa? What's the process like? It's fairly simple. You can get everything you need from your flight provider. We got ours through Southwest. It's a $50 fee. It's a two-part visa. You need the first part for when you're leaving for Cuba, and obviously you'll need the second part for when you return. So make sure you do not lose your visa. When applying for a visa, you're going to have to give a reason as to why you're visiting Cuba. And as of right now, you're not allowed to travel from the US as a tourist to Cuba. So the Cuban government has all types of reasons that'll work. Things like educational activities, journalism, professional research. You can even say religious reasons. You can even say, I'm going to support the people of Cuba. Those are all things that'll work, but not tourism. So be careful. Once you have your plane ticket and your visa, you're good to go. Let's move on to taking pictures. Obviously, when you're going on any trip, you're going to want to take pictures. So it's recommended that you ask for permission to take pictures with people in them. If you see somebody dressed up in a traditional outfit, or maybe somebody like this guy who had this very cute dog, we all wanted to take pictures with the dog, but he wants money. That is very normal. People in Cuba will ask you for money for different types of things. That's just how it is. It only happened to us that one time. Taking pictures of policemen, military, or government buildings is not allowed. We've heard stories of people getting their cameras taken away. If your camera is your iPhone, that's not good. Also, when you're out and about, no blowing your nose in public or spitting in the street. It's considered very rude. Okay, now let's talk about money. You're gonna need cash. Make sure you plan accordingly and bring enough cash to pay for everything on your entire trip. Not many places accept credit cards. Try to exchange all of your money ahead of time. We exchanged most of our US dollars for Mexican pesos and Canadian dollars. Once you get to Cuba, you can only use Cuban pesos. When you get to the airport, only exchange enough money to pay for a cab. It should be only $20 or $30. You can exchange the rest of your money at an international bank or most of the hotels. But if you're exchanging US dollars, you will pay a 13% fee. The cost for many things in Cuba is pretty reasonable. The Airbnb we stayed at offered full service, which included maids and even people to cook for you. But everything we used cost extra. For instance, eggs, $6, water, $1, lunch, $10. They provided beer and alcohol, but if we wanted to drink it, we had to pay extra for it. Part of the beauty of Cuba, I think, is all the old cars. They're everywhere. So I wouldn't pay any extra money to go on one of those old car tours, because more than likely, if you're getting a taxi, you're going to end up in an old car. If you're trying to get around in Cuba without a taxi and you're looking for a street sign, all you need to do is look down. All of the street signs are engraved in rocks on the street corners. Something else we noticed is that there aren't many street lights. You'll see street lights in the populated areas, but if you're going through neighborhoods, I would try to get someplace during the daytime. Even though Cuba is a tropical island, I would wear dark colored clothes and closed-toed shoes. We noticed on the days that we wore flip-flops or light colored clothes, we came back with our clothes kind of dirty. I don't know if it's because of the dust in the area or maybe exhaust from the cars, but that's just something that we noticed. Phone and internet. Keep in mind the Cuban government controls all telecommunications and Wi-Fi is limited, so unless you're willing to pay the extra expense of international calls or you absolutely need Wi-Fi for business, just enjoy a couple of days from all communication. When it comes to straightening your hair or plugging anything in Cuba, I would say bring a power converter. The Airbnb we stayed at had all American outlets, so we were great, but I'd say bring a European converter just in case. Toilets. This one's pretty important. Ladies especially, bring your own toilet tissue, wet naps, or whatever you want to use in the bathroom, because most places do not offer toilet tissue, and those that do will make you pay for it, and you'll have to pay to use the bathroom. You'll also see signs, and once you get inside the bathroom, that say, please don't flush anything down the toilet. It's kind of gross, you will smell it, but the plumbing is bad. That's the reason why you cannot flush anything down the toilet. You have to throw everything in the trash. Restaurants. Try to make your reservations ahead of time. Most places will allow you to do so online, but for some who didn't respond, we actually had to go to the restaurant on the day of to see if they could accommodate our group. One night we couldn't find a restaurant to seat all of us. That's why we had a house party, all thanks to our host at our Airbnb. Travel time. Like any international flight, try to get to the airport at least 2 hours ahead of time. Southwest has an area specifically designated for Cuba once you get to the airport for the distribution of visas. It closes an hour before takeoff, so if you're not there, you will miss your flight. And then on the way home, give yourself 3 hours because lines are very long. If you keep these things in mind when traveling to Cuba, you should be all set. If you have any more questions, feel free to message me below. And if you like what you see, subscribe. I'll see you next week.